It is the dawning of a new day, a day of warmth and gladness, of brightness, of glory, of faith, of strength,
Sunshine,
of perfection, 13-0 perfection. There is so much ahead of us right now. Give me your reaction.
This is the time, Cole. This is what we've all been waiting for. And now we have to remember how to talk about 100 Thieves winning matches.
Because we forgot. How do we do this? I mean, we did win the Echo Fox game, I suppose, but you know.
Yeah, snarky comments aside, it feels different today. Today is a different feeling day, Monday, than what we're used to.
Maybe we should rename it a different day of the week. This is Win Day, and we are not sure
Win Day
how to process what has been happening.
Happy Win Day, everybody.
Happy Win Day. Welcome to 100 Talk on a very extra saucy special edition, the birthday edition, because guess what? We have been doing this show for 1 year. If I hold up 2, it's like 11. 1 year of shows. Can you believe that?
Cole, I can't believe that we've known each other for a whole year.
You and I have known each other for a year.
Wow. Whoa.
Can you believe it? Actually, do you know how long we've known each other, everybody? Yes, you do, because we talk about it all the time since first grade. I have some photo evidence from a time when we knew each other as youths. Would you all like to see this? Sorry for the audio listeners. All right, check this out. Jordan dug this up today. Look at that. Look at those cute little boys. I don't know what face I'm making. I look to be upset at my high C choice. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah. You got a real sour orange slice on that one.
Yeah. So this is at a soccer game when we were we had to be like second grade?
Oh, probably about that.
And you don't appear to be wearing your jersey, man. Come on, you slacker.
I know. I was playing referee that game.
I'm sure it was a very well called match. Well,
Towers down, juice box up.
Look, it's been a fun year, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But since that's very self-serving, instead, we're going to start the show by talking about what everybody actually cares about, and that's, hey, Jordan, did you hear? We are good.
Well, I've known about a team who's good at League of Legends called 100 Thieve.
100 Thieve. 100th Thieve. Dude, what is going on? I don't recognize the team even.
I'll tell you what's going on. We're about to tell everybody what's going on. That's the subtitle of this show. What's going on?
Yeah.
We got some ideas, you and I. Seems like we can play League of Legends well again. Blast to the past.
Do we know why we can play League of Legends well again? Because I don't.
Well,
or is it Ryu?
I think it could be him. I think it might be Ryu.
Yeah.
Isn't that? Hey, wait! Before we jump into the games, can we just do? It's our birthday. It's our birthday today. This is birthday pod.
Yes, it is a birthday pod.
I got myself a little something special here.
Oh my goodness! Is that a coconut?
No, it's
okay. Good.
It's yellow.
That would be.
You think
offensive.
coconut comes in a
I
yellow? I
don't know
can?
what color coconut cans are.
Look, it's tropical. It's tropical, Cole. But I did, in fact, get 2 coconut Red Bulls.
Oh gosh, there it is, dude. You are the worst. I don't even want this on my show, man. You are gonna get kicked off. You know what? I'm muting you. I'm gonna turn you off, and I'm just gonna put the picture of us in front of you. Because
at least give him the ASMR can pop. Here we go.
That you hear is the sound of a juice box straw puncturing the juice box.
All right.
And now I'm going to take a sip of that.
No, it's
beautiful high C. Is that Ecto Cooler? Is that Jammin' Berry? Who knows? I don't seem to be happy with it, though.
It tastes like ghosts.
Oh, gosh. Well, look, let's talk about some actual stuff. Let's
do this. Let's get into the games, shall we?
Well, we played the team called Cloud9. And if you recall to my excellent predictions, I predicted that we would lose this game.
I did as well.
I ended up being woefully wrong. Your prediction included the caveat that you thought at some point this split we would beat a top 3 team. Little did we know that was about to happen.
I don't know if that feels like a broadly enough worded prediction that I don't know how much credit I should claim for that. I think at the time that I made it, I told you it was a lukewarm take, and you told me it wasn't. You told me it was hot.
Well, how wrong I was. Yes. Because look, in my defense, it was like we fielded an entirely new team. All right. Can we just agree on that?
Yeah. This feels like a brand new team. Brand new week. When I was taking notes, I wrote week 1, Cloud9.
Week 1, a new beginning.
It does feel like that, doesn't it?
Yes, I'm not going to lie. It does. We got to experience this game in a very interesting way, which is the VOD Squad stream, which is a new thing that we did Saturday night because we could not attend the game. Certainly we couldn't attend the game. We also could not watch it live. And that was actually a whole lot of fun, but it made for bad game notes. I will say that because I was having so much fun watching this and seeing us win and talking to chat while we were doing it that wow, all I can remember is we did good.
Oh,
and you know who did especially good? Bang! 2-time world champion Bang. 7-0-7 on that game. And if anyone had a more drastic turnaround this split, please direct me to it because I have not seen anything quite this extreme. Well, how did you feel about his play?
I mean, I feel like this was the play of the type that when you watch the highlight reels of Bang, this is what Bang looks like. This is how Bang plays. And I feel like the weird thing to me, it even seems like Bang feels that way, right? Like he's hearkening back. Listen to the voice comms in the little pregame roll they do, and he's like, "Yeah, I won 2 world championships. I'm Bang." He's like, "Oh yeah,
Was he realizing that or remembering it? Or?
I don't know, but it worked. It resulted in a really outstanding game with some awesome top 15 worthy plays.
Yeah, dude, I got to be tracking those.
Gotta get the tracker going again.
I thought so. It sounds like in retrospect. Well, Ryu got player of the game for both games, right? This weekend.
Yes. Yep.
I'm not sure it shouldn't have gone to Bang on that first game because that dude was making super aggressive and bold plays on the Xayah, and it looked incredible. And Aphro was doing great too on this thing. I just have to ask, where did this aggression suddenly come from? Because we're talking about if you go rewind to week 2, this is, and if you remove the nameplates, you would think we had a different player in.
Yes.
So
week 2.
What is going right now?
I would say week 3 spring through week 2 summer, almost an entire split. There were some pretty good plays early on, I think spring, but it feels completely different. The only thing I can hypothesize, Cole, is there is a Ryu buff, and I've been thinking about this a lot, trying to figure it out.
Here comes the theory, everybody.
I can't figure it out. So there are a couple things we've learned. People who have been listening to the comms, they're like, yeah, listen to them. They're chatting a lot. Afro's making calls. Amazing's making calls. There's a lot of good talk going on. And every once in a while, you hear Ryu will kind of go we can go top, or he'll be like, Bang's pretty good.
Yeah.
Why is that enough to make somebody play like a world champion again? I mean, he went from 10th place LCS ADC to looking 7-0-7 like a world champion. It boggles my mind. I do not get it, Cole.
Yeah.
I love it.
Maybe it's the Ryu buff. Yeah, whatever it is welcome here.
Yeah, we will take another serving, please, of that.
Yeah. I have to say, so there were countless plays actually that you could name where he just really was roughing people up. And I think you and I had the same thought on what was the most viscerally impressive because when he TP'd in up top behind Licorice,
that was an early TP too. He knew.
Absolutely shredded Licorice. He just threw out the cues over and over again, and like just ripped him to pieces very quickly. And I remember when I saw the TP come in, and I was just like, the casters, I did not think that it was Bang. Like,
right.
Okay, Ryu with the TP. Let's
that's
see how this goes.
That's such a beautiful mechanic that you can't see who's TPing in.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have full visibility to the minimap, you can kind of get like a little sneak peek. But when he showed up, I was like, oh boy, here we go. And he just, I mean, Akali's a pretty mobile champ.
Yeah.
Credit to Amazing for helping to break up the escape as well with his little body slam.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he shredded him, man. It was brutal.
Yeah.
And that's licorice. That's licorice.
One of our listeners, Paytend, at Paytend on Twitter, he said, I think Bang finally realized he's playing in NA.
So
is that the difference?
We're going to talk about this.
Okay.
But confirmed in the heist this week, they kind of talked about this where and we'll get to that, but I think there's some truth to that, which is fantastic. You got to love it. On that note, really quick, I just want to put this out there before it gets lost. I think a lot of people will hear that, and even the way Amazing talked about it, he said, I kind of talked to Bang. I was like, hey, look, they're not going to make the perfect play. No one you're going to play against is going to make the perfect play, especially not an Echo Fox or a FlyQuest or another low, bottom of the table team.
Sure.
But even C9, the thing that I think is worth remembering is C9 is a successful international team. So they're not perfect, and they're not going to make perfect plays. And I think the micro play in NA is not at the level that Bang is used to in LCK. But the NA teams have been able to bring success to the international stage playing in the same error-prone way. So let's not hear that and say, so it doesn't really matter if he's smurfing in NA, because NA shows up. MSI, Worlds, we've done it back-to-back major tournaments. If we look good in NA, that's a good thing.
I mean, I will say it's a good thing, but at the same time, I'm a little bit dialed back on that take compared to where you are on it, because I don't know. It's kind of early, right? We'll see. We'll see what form everybody rounds into, but certainly it's a good sign, right? And it's not like any of us fans truly believe we had a shot going into this game anyway. So to see him just playing, Bidingerim, Bidingerim's on a whole another plane of existence. So, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's like something that was just beyond belief to see him run around like that. We had some relentless pursuits, like when he QSS'd the Crystal Arrow from Ash.
Yep.
And just kept going because he was not going to be stopped. Man, this was just not the hesitant, let's see what happens and react to it team. And
I think even more on that play, he insta QSS the arrow, but he was running at 3 people, right? Like, don't forget that either. He was at the front of the pack chasing down 3 people. So he's not afraid.
Yeah.
Like, he could have been turned on, but he went anyway.
So look, we would be foolish to not mention his lane partner during this time as well. Now, this is something we didn't spend, I don't think, maybe even any time talking about in the last show. And something that's gotten a little bit of attention, but not enough in my opinion. It really does feel like Aphro has found his groove. Like, I guess here I'll make this meme later where I edit the how Stella got her groove back. VHS cassette.
Yeah, or the Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, well, not as good. But dude looks a lot crispier, and I know he's been playing a lot of Rakan games, so maybe that has something to do with it. Well, we at least know he's looking pretty like hard to beat on Rakan. He finished this game 2-2 and 13. That's a lot of assists and a couple of kills in there too. Flying all around, making really aggressive engages. I honestly think that, we've heard Aphro complain a little bit, maybe sub tweeting or sub interviewing at Bang when he said, we need to play aggressive and not be scared and all that stuff. I mean, I feel like even he has had additional aggression unlocked through whatever process went on in the past week or two, because he seems like he's actively looking for that playmaking all the time right now, and we're not seeing him just sitting somewhere in river and getting caught out. We're seeing him setting up the aggressive plays and getting buy-in from the team, and so that they happen. This is crazy. It's just crazy. It feels so much different.
It does, man. It does. It absolutely does. And when we've talked about Aphro, and sometimes he's kind of fallen off our radar a little bit because we spent a lot of time talking about him in spring, less time in the summer talking about him, just because I think he's not as forward a presence in some of our earlier games as Split, just because I think we've been looking at other pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, credit where credit's due. He is looking a lot more like 2018 Aphro than 2019 Aphro, which is fantastic for this squad. One thing I'll point out as well is that he's been, as you said, he's been calling for the team to play more aggressively. Another clip in the heist this week is amazing. They got a really good clip of him in a scrim, basically urging everybody, like, we have to play aggressive. Come on. They can't do anything to us. Like, we've got to take advantage of this moment. So it might be that there are more voices now urging people in that direction. And maybe Ryu is another one of those voices. You know, we're not hearing him say it as much, but we look a lot more aggressive when he's in the game. So you got to think he's got a role in that. But I think for Aphro, if you're aggressively minded, eventually you stop doing that if it looks like you're inting, right? So think about this. All of the hate he got when we were at our lowest. I mean, there were some plays in there, obviously, that were just bad plays, and he's on that. Everybody knows that. But after a while, if you're an aggressively minded player and you've got nobody behind you and you're playing support, you just stop trying. You stop trying to make plays because you're tired of dying alone. Yeah. So I have to imagine that he feels unlocked to play the type of game that we've seen him play so successfully, knowing now that he's got reinforcements behind him. And I think there were a couple of really good. It's almost like there are a couple of failed Rakan engages where he went in, you know, he had to run a little bit longer than you typically would to try to charm with Rakan.
Yeah.
But he still kept going for it, and he eventually jumped out, right? And he survived. So that felt like a huge difference for me so far as Aphro goes. And I've got to imagine he's just feeling like it's a new day, too, which his stat line shows.
And you had some comments about the draft for this one, right? Did you want to launch into that a little bit?
Yeah, not from like a breakdown perspective per se, but one thing I was noticing is, I think you had very rightfully called out earlier, this split, that it felt like we just had a slow read on this meta.
Yeah.
There were a lot of weird things going on. We had Yumi, we had a couple of new strats that were kind of on the fringes that people were abusing. In this game, we saw Tom Kench picked up by Cloud9. We saw Silas picked up by Cloud9, and they both fell pretty flat after the nerfs came through. I'd say they both fell really flat. So, you know, I think maybe what Cloud9 was trying to do was say, yeah, the nerfs came in, so people are going to go away from them. We still think they're pretty good. But I think we showed we were able to exploit those two champions really strongly. And then the thing that I picked up on as well is that we did see a Victor pick, which I feel like we're not seeing a ton of, but that Ryu got player of the game honors on. So I just want to call out, again, credit where credit's due. And I think Aphro mentioned in his interview with Travis that the coaches are smurfing.
He's like, coaches are smurfing?
Yeah, the drafts are looking really good.
Yeah, I like this comment from YouTube chat. MGS Fan 1 said, it took a third, it first pointed out drafting to your strengths, and then said, it took a split and a third to realize that when you say you want to play aggressive, you actually give your players the tools to do so. And it did feel like there was some truth to that in this. I also liked, let's see, was this I can't remember if, I don't have it in front of me. Was this a Gragas game for Amazing?
Yes.
Okay,
it was. Yep.
So I liked having him on that champion as well because,
me too.
You know, you've got lots of gap closers there, and you've got the body slam, and like, I don't know, it just seems like Amazing seems to do well when he's setting up plays like that. Like once he fixed his I can't land Sejuani ults problem, which he fixed, we gave him full credit. He fixed it.
Yep.
It just seems like he does very well on a jungle champion like that. You've got Aphro is engaged and the ability to protect Bang a little bit. It looked so much cleaner. And Ryu was popping off too on the Victor.
I know, man. Like, he didn't have just a helpful game. He had a dangerous game. He was laying down some serious damage. I want to say I know in one of his Victor games, he was tied for highest damage in the game. Like his I think this is the rust coming off of Ryu, right?
Yeah.
and maybe Victor is the comfort champ for him and one he's very familiar with. But he was a presence. He was a presence for sure in more ways than just kind of calling the shots or directing traffic or whatever you want to call what he does.
Right. Yeah. There was that one team fight where I don't think anyone went down, even though it was like a pretty messy team fight, and the teams were kind of just walking back, and Ryu just shows up in the river, and he just like assassinates somebody, pops them open with Victor, and walks back away. Like it was like, okay, cool. We turned like
stone cold,
a hard fought but nothing gained thing into there's a kill. So,
there's a free kill.
In Twitch chat, your boy Graf says, I'm curious to see what happens when someone bans Rakan or Xayah, and that's been my thought as well. Like, you have to see... I would think it's an absolute guarantee that the teams are going to start breaking up that duo against us. Like, you just can't let it through anymore.
You have to. I think... And I almost think I doubt we're not going to see both bans, right? You ban one or the other, you target. Do you think we're more likely to see a Xayah or a Rakan ban?
Probably a Rakan ban because Aphro's been so proficient on the champion.
That's kind of what I think too.
Yeah, I mean, Bang surely was popping off. Like, don't get me wrong, but Aphro's shown a lot of technical skill on the Rakan lately, and it's been a problem.
I could be wrong on this, but I believe that the Xayah is a little bit stronger solo than the Rakan is.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you could target the Rakan, try to get him out of there, just knowing how good Aphro is on him. But you still have that 707 game staring you right in the face then from Bang. So, but that's a really positive thing, right?
Yeah.
I would say that, especially in this meta, if you're having to spend your bans on kind of like the non-big, call them big six or whatever the champion, however many champions there are, it's kind of like your bans are pretty forced at this point. You get a little flex, but if you're not going to ban out those OP champs, you're going to find yourself at a disadvantage potentially. So pulling those would be a fantastic thing for us overall.
Yeah. It's nice to have some powerful stuff that that you have that might make teams strain a little bit to draft against you, which, maybe that's just our luck in the meta, but we'll have to keep an eye on that.
And then one last note on the Gragas. I'm kind of picking up on a play style from Amazing here, which is
an observation from Jordan coming to the podcast.
Observation incoming.
Take note, everybody. Get out your pens and notepads.
Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. So his numbers don't look as good. Like I think if you stacked up just from a numbers perspective, he would look less dominant than his opposing junglers. So I'd love to see a statistical breakdown of that. But you talked about that barrel ult as a gap closer. He used it really well. He would create space as well.
Oh, you mean with the cask?
Yeah, cask.
Yeah.
If you're playing Bang, if you're playing as Bang, if you're Bang, that's just as valuable, right? Because it gives you that little bit of space. Like there's one really key play up on the top inhib toward the end of the game, where he uses it early and basically just completely disperses their team, which gives us a free inhib.
Right.
So
yeah,
that doesn't show up anywhere.
We secured it. Yeah.
Yeah, it shows up nowhere in your stat line. But obviously incredibly valuable. So I'm really interested to see if we continue to put him on more like utility junglers. And having him have that play style, I think, is great for us because of the carry potential we have in somebody like Bang. If as he showed, that's not something we would have said 3 weeks ago. But
not at all.
I'll be interested to see if that continues.
Yeah. It felt like in this game, I mean, the only player that I don't think we've literally mentioned him yet, but FakeGod, he seemed like a little bit of a non-factor in this game, if I'm not mistaken. I mean,
he had the Aatrox, and
I guess he team fought well, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
But he didn't seem like the quite a key player. But I think he did fine, and I was actually bringing that up to say, so far we've had attention on FakeGod when he's had solo deaths or CS deficits or something like that. So I was actually going to say that the fact that we don't really point to FakeGod right now is actually a good thing because, he wasn't an obstacle for our team. And guess who he was playing? He was playing probably, the best, if not one of the best at the least, top laners in the region in Licorice. So that's pretty encouraging. And like I said, he did actually, he had some nice, some team fight stuff. Some good synergy in the team fight with the team on the Aatrox. So yeah, I like FakeGod was there, and he wasn't causing us problems. It seemed like so that was that was a nice little plus. I'm
Yeah,
feeling like FakeGod's getting better.
We'll talk a lot more about him for the next game because I think that was more of an interesting game for him. But I think that's another probably commonality we're going to see here is team fights incredibly well. We see this going all the way back to the Pr0lly game last week, where he did not generate a lead for himself, but showed up to these team fights ready to brawl, man. And he's got a really good sense for how to team fight well. So I would love to see that continue. One thing I wanted to call out in Twitch chat is Wannabe Tracer saying, I'm kind of worried Bang is our only carry. I think that's a really interesting thing to think through right now. Because that's as I was taking through him, I was like, so if we can have Utility Gragas setting up plays for Bang. But I think Ryu has shown he can deliver some damage. He ended his second game 5-0-1. That's a carry performance. It's not, it's not going to blow the doors off anything, but that's really good. And then I think that you could look at FakeGod as kind of an unconventional carry because when he's playing Aatrox or any of these other team fighting top laners, he does the team fight so well that you don't really need him to show up as a conventional carry, right? Who can do more like what we think of when we think of Someday, right?
Yeah.
So I just we'll have to see how the team develops, but I will be interested as well. If Bang has an off game or if Bang gets camped and if they start to flip the strategy on us, right? Maybe you're going to let FakeGod kind of stay on his own up there and see what happens. Do these other guys show up to pick up the mantle? Or are we going to become more dependent on somebody like Bang with this current roster?
I think actually we should stay on FakeGod as we transition into the FlyQuest game. Because I forget who it was. Maybe it was Smithy. Someone tweeted out, or maybe it was Golden Glue. I can't remember. Maybe Twitch chat will know. But someone tweeted out that FakeGod was a pressure sponge, right? And that is really what it's been feeling like lately. Is that he can absorb and absorb and absorb the pressure. Now he's died, right? He's C9 was I think fine, but he did die a lot in FlyQuest. But as we know, that dude was being hard camped during the FlyQuest
Yes, he was.
game. That was clearly the strategy for them. Is like, okay, we're going to put our thumbs on the new guy, make him squeal, and yeah, we'll get a lead there. Now, I am a little bit confused as to how this didn't end up mattering because it went pretty poorly for us.
Yeah.
I think he had 3 deaths in lane before we transitioned out of that phase.
Yep.
Like I said, they were camped, so I'm not super faulting him, even though I think maybe 1 or 2 of those situations would have been avoidable with a little more awareness. But still, how did that not end up mattering? He called out his performance as lose lane, win game, right?
Yep. Famously.
Is that his legit play style, or is this purely a consequence of opposing team strategy? Because if you feel like, all right, there's this the other player on the team who's brand new and he's young and might not know what he's doing. Obviously, you're going to concentrate there to try and exploit the weakness. So is this, or what we seeing how he plays, or is it just how other teams are playing against him right now?
I would say, when we've seen him play in Academy, we saw he was much more likely to take over a game on his good games, right? I think we actually saw him in Academy, especially recently, this split, or last split, kind of end of last split. I guess this split too. There were definitely games where he did not have a favorable stat line. It didn't look good. So maybe that's more just his play style. He's aggressive. He goes in. He plays hard. He takes fights. He loses. He dies. Right. And so maybe there is a bit of truth to that. Lose lane, win game. I don't know the strategy behind that. I cannot figure out
how you put that on
you.
paper. Yeah.
Except for the idea of him being a pressure sponge. And I think usually when you think of a pressure sponge, you think of somebody who they throw a lot at him. but he doesn't pay him back for it, right? It's a bad return on your investment and your time walking all the way up to top lane.
I don't think about it that way. I think of more of like impact, right? Where you no matter what they throw at you, it doesn't end up becoming an advantage for the other team. An impact is somebody who like notoriously stalls out the carry champions of fierce top laners. And it's almost like FakeGod's been able to achieve a similar result even while dying, whereas Impact like didn't quite often die.
Right.
You know?
That's the difference.
that's what I can't figure it out.
That's where you look at it, and I'm sure that the guys he's laning against are like, all right, getting fed, getting a little bit strong here.
Yeah.
And then 20 minutes hits, and he shows up to a team fight, and he wrecks your whole team. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What was that?
Here?
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I think if I had to pick between Ken and Aatrox, I'd take him on an Aatrox for sure. But even I think he played his job. He did his job well on the Kennen. He showed up. He dropped the lightning storm. He stunned people out. Like he disrupted the fights. When you're Aatrox, you're doing the same thing, except that you're just chunking out health bars, right? That's what you're the way you're accomplishing that. So, but here's the other thing I want to talk about for sure. Part of being a pressure sponge is you have to be tilt proof. You have to just not care. And I do get the sense that this kid doesn't care if you solo kill him 3 times, right? Or if you send your entire team up to make his game miserable. Like he's like, all right, lane phase is done. So what's next? That's like this strategy doesn't work if you get tilted. So credit for that too, because you talk about young players in there getting roughed up and kind of their mental going bad, and like I would say he's shown that that's not an issue for him.
Yeah. Do you feel like he's getting better right now? Like, do you see week to week improvement in FakeGod?
We've only got 2 weeks to compare, but
yeah, I guess that's right. I guess I mean game to game, and I'm being a little short sighted there. That's fair, but still,
I can tell you what I think will happen.
Yeah.
I think if I were to rank his games he's played, right? I think Pr0lly was probably his best game. Aatrox is second best. Kennen is third best. I'm not counting loss. So, but so is it like a clear upward trajectory? I would say not. I think it might just depend on like the way we feel about him game to game. Probably depends partially on how they want to prioritize him in draft. And that's the other thing is if you can get this guy a champion who he feels confident absorbing pressure with, you don't have to prioritize him in draft either. So you can pick up the Xayah first if you want. You can do all that kind of stuff. And I can't remember the draft order on that, but that's another strength.
Went second and third picks from us.
Yeah. So do I think he's getting better? Absolutely. I think he's got a ton of upside. And like, let's not forget, he talked about this in the heist too. He said they told him like on Thursday he was starting that weekend. So he had 1 day of scrims and with that full squad, maybe 2. So like everybody else with this current iteration of the roster, they're still figuring out how it works. And I think they'll all continue to play better together. And I think especially him, he'll just continue to get better and better, like as a pure player.
Yeah. And I think, we would do well to remind ourselves of where he's coming from too, because, we know that he won the best player at Scouting Grounds, in 2018. And then the thing was, that was his first competitive experience in League of Legends. And he had only just begun to take the time to take it seriously and see what he could do. Right?
Yeah.
So before that, he was just kind of like playing in between studying or whatever. So he is a very young player. And there's, I think that some people are still pointing out where he doesn't provide the same things that Someday does. He's a different player, first of all, I'll point that out. And then this dude is still like in the oven right now. Like you need to give him some more time to cook. And I mean, that's the team right now is winning with him in it.
Yep.
Like I don't see the downside, even though as a Someday fan, I miss him, So
yeah. I think anybody who's calling for changes to this current roster, I question, because the proof is in the pudding. Like, how could you say that this is not the best roster we have available to us right now when we've won more games, almost more games in a row than we did for like a year.
Yeah.
You know, we ended last split with
A
4
at least,
wins, and we've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So I would strongly urge anybody suggesting that we make an additional roster change to just hold that thought.
Yeah.
Because this is good.
So this game was weird for a number of reasons, right? Like, as we already pointed out, the FakeGod hard camp didn't work out for them, which was weird. Here's some other weird things. We snuck a Baron at like, what, 21 minutes?
Yeah, it was.
We just
fast.
started it and snuck it.
It was maybe started before. I mean, I think we took it at 21 minutes. Like, it was started at 2020 or something like that. It was intense. I saw us going over there, and I was like, no way. No way.
That's something I'm not used to with this team. Guess what? They had a negative gold Baron, which I'm pretty sure the counter on the cast includes the Baron gold. So it's like 1,500 you get for killing Baron.
Yeah, for sure. They would have been better off just not getting that Baron from a gold perspective. I think they lost a quarter on it. And
I will tell you this. So the Camille split push. Now, I will say Camille was strong and was problematic in the mid game for sure.
Yes.
So it's not that the camping FakeGod strategy didn't work at all, but when Viper took Camille up and got that bot inhib off of us, I really thought that was the beginning of the throw. I was like, okay, well, they just did the move that is going to equalize everything we've done up to this point, and they're going to flip the game and be in control. So it's worth pointing out that we had some real grit in this game.
Yeah.
Like I feel like 100 Thieves are probably in a mental space where it's so easy to just stop and get tilted because everything has gone wrong for you for so long now, right?
Right.
And just put yourself in that position where just when things are looking up and it's looking like you're going to have real momentum, something like that happens, like I can see just getting tilted and throwing the game from that point. They did not at all. There was 100% composure in the team. And that is, again, just not something it felt like we had in last split. Last split, we would have given up that game for sure. We probably wouldn't have even fought very hard as we died. So, what is going on? Yeah,
my heart sunk as I saw them come out ahead with the split push as we were charging down mid. And I felt the same thing. I was like, oh man, that's probably the nail in the coffin. Cause I think we've seen a lot of games where that kind of thing is right. Like we give up something, then we give up more, then we give up more, then we give up an Elder and a Baron, and that's the end of the game. So to see us give up something, which is significant. I mean, I think basically they swung the game back into their control and then refused to give them any more was fantastic. That was so important. And, we just retook control of that game and grounded out. I'm not used to seeing that.
Yeah. You had a note on Ryu.
Yeah.
On this game as well. I mean, you already said he finished 5-0-1.
Yep.
I think the CS was kind of up and down for him. It never got out of control in the negative direction. I think he technically finished ahead, but it was, kind of goofy for a little bit there. But I think, what did you think about him?
Just the thing that really caught my eye was, Pr0lly there, very, very good mid laner in the middle of a really tough split, right? And obviously not playing at the level he's maximally capable of. But good mid laner on a really strong champion in Zoe. And as I was thinking about it, I was so impressed by the way Ryu on a champion with like no mobility, not low mobility, like no mobility. He played against that Zoe almost flawlessly. Like there was never a time where he got caught, he got exploded. I mean, when you're laning against a Zoe, all it takes is one skill shot to kill you because you hit that first one, you're shooting at a sitting duck. So I just thought that he played it so well. And then to end the game with such a dominant stat line, I think it's just really a good sign that he was able to go up against that matchup. And, for all I know, it could be that Victor is like a hard counter to Zoe. And what am I talking about? But just so many times I feel like with this team, we've seen Zoe's just tear us apart. right? You get shredded. They get the poke going. It's out of control. There's nothing you can do. So when we think about our mid lane, I think that's one of the things I always just watch out for is, can one of those champions like Zoe take over and start to dominate us through mid, which in the past has caused us to start losing the game elsewhere on the map. And that was absolutely not what happened here. So I was super encouraged by that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kudos to him for, continuing to be a factor even when his career has gone down, this path where it's like, all right, when is he going to be washed? It's impressive to see. And like you said, hopefully some more rust keeps coming off on, the lane phase and some other things. He's certainly looked better this week than he did in the last week, which is to be expected.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, put him on a champion like Victor, he's going to have more ability to impact the game through his stat line than through position play and Talia.
Sure.
So, I mean, but that's something we had a question mark about, right? Is can Ryu show up on these champions where you need him to basically deliver a carry performance, whether or not he's carrying the whole game, damage dealing champions. And yeah, he did it twice.
Yeah. So good on him, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were able to fend off the counter from them, defend really well, continue being aggressive, and pull off the win against FlyQuest team, who honestly is better than their record suggests.
Yeah.
So yeah, we come off of 2 unexpected wins, one like way unexpected.
Yeah.
And the FlyQuest win too. So we find ourselves winning 3 in a row. And suddenly we're 3-5. And you know what that means? That means we're 1 win out of playoffs right now.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Can you believe that? So who would have thought we'd be in this position? Now, this is what I want to ask you, because it's really tempting to have all this positive stuff going on, all this good news, and to see us like, okay, like we've almost caught up to, the clump of teams that are going to be playoff contenders. I mean, is this going to stay? Are we going to keep playing this way? Is this a fluke win, which some people are saying about C9? How do you feel?
Well, you actually, I think you called this where you said C9 might put in like a different roster. They might kind of sleep
Not
on this
take
game.
It seriously, yeah.
Yeah. And they put in Blabber, which, people would say either, I mean, he showed up at Worlds, right? He played at Worlds, so he's not a scrub, obviously. But I don't think there's any debating that he's not as strong as Svenskeren is. So is it a fluke win? How much are we putting into this? Do I think this is the new norm? I kind of feel like this is the new norm. I kind of do. Do I think that we're going to beat everybody we play? Like, do I think this is the win streak that gets us to 13-5?
13-5. We got to stop saying that. We got to stop setting that expectation.
Well, that's what everybody's saying, right? 13-5. But sorry, this is the beginning of that. No, I don't. Like, there's going to be hiccups, and I think it's stupid to say if we finish less than 13-5, it's disappointing or it's a failure.
Yeah.
I would be very happy still with a playoff spot at the end of this split. I think that would be an incredible amount of progress in a very short time. But I've seen enough games like this from us where we show grit, resilience, a lot of chin. We get hit, we just keep going. We show heart, coming back from positions we shouldn't come back from. That I think there are going to be more games than not that we get a win from. That we have not in the past, right? Like I'm starting to look at this team more as one of those where we look stronger than the bottom 4 teams in the league on a consistent basis. So I think for me the answer is I think this is starting to feel like the new norm.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some comments in chat. Like Players Rock says, I feel like TSM and TL are going to take advantage of top big time. It's like, wouldn't you have said the same thing about Licorice?
Yeah,
like,
who is more positioned to do that than Licorice?
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I mean, like, I'm not predicting a win against Team Liquid, certainly. And TSM would be a challenge as well. But, we at least, I think one of the biggest things that has changed is that now it feels like we have a chance to win games. Whereas before, I didn't, watching the games, I was never expecting to really be in contention for a win. Because now all of
Yeah.
a sudden, I'm like during FlyQuest, after we beat C9, I was like, okay, we can win this FlyQuest game. And when we were up, it was not a fatalist. All right, how long will this last before somebody does something stupid? It was no, we can do this. Like, let's not mess up. Let's
Right.
play our game. So that's been the biggest difference. Is just like the feeling that that you get as a fan watching this group of guys play. Man, that is a welcome change.
Yeah, it is. It's feels good, man. I feel like this is where the real fans kind of get their payoff, right? Like these are the wins that feel really sweet, where you've seen all of the pain that comes along with losing out like we did. It's good to see. Like, I was listening to the comms after we won. I think it was a FlyQuest game or maybe C9, either way. But just like that chatter again of like that meme of this is Bang, right? Like, it's so fun to see that come back. And I think if you hadn't seen everything that happened between then and now, it's not as sweet. So
yeah,
enjoy it.
I don't know if you saw this, but G2 posted this video that kind of like showed their comms during a game. I don't know which team they were playing because honestly, I have not watched much LEC this split. But yeah, they were like just having so much fun playing the game. They were laughing. They were, bantering with each other. It wasn't so serious and everything. And I watched it and I thought, like, imagine what it would be like if we had that in our comms right now. And we at least took a step in that direction where the guys are, having more fun and it's not like this vicious grind that, is eating you from the inside out.
Right.
So,
and I think what we've seen is, or at least the feeling I get, is the teams who can do that, who can have fun, who can play their own game, who can kind of go in and just, play a little bit more fast and loose, they're finding success. So I'm encouraged that that's kind of the mentality that the team is showing already. And if we start losing again, which I say that just as a hedge, I honestly don't see that happening. Like, I don't see it. I don't see us falling back to that place. We're just playing so differently already that I feel pretty confident in saying I don't think we go back to being the team that we were at the end of last split and the beginning of this one.
Yeah. Well, we're contractually obligated to talk about Pr0lly right now, right? Because we instituted Pr0lly Watch.
Yes,
so
we did.
Now that week 4 is behind us, and geez, we're almost halfway through the split, by the way. That's weird. Pr0lly Watch, we're checking in on that. I have to call this specific anecdotal thing out because on Reddit, someone made this thread that was like, this is on the 100T subreddit. It was like, look, if we gave Pr0lly so much criticism while the team was doing bad, now that the team is improving rapidly, it's only right that we give him some credit for that. And someone literally replied and said he didn't make any changes. Like, Pr0lly doesn't do anything. He doesn't change anything. It's like, no, actually he made a couple of pretty drastic and unpopular roster changes.
Yeah.
And they worked and we started winning. So how can you say that? So
right.
So
people were like at the same time flaming him for benching someday and saying he didn't make any changes. Like, you can't have both. You don't get both.
Exactly. So I think personally, tell me if you disagree, old friend.
Okay.
I think Pr0lly has done a lot in the past couple of weeks that has probably eased the pressure on him. I don't think Pr0lly Watch is over. Again, this is 3 wins, right? If we lay an egg for the rest of the split, there's still massive problems, and quite frankly, there's still issues with the team. It's not like we're a first place team right now,
right? And
the potential talent ceiling of our roster, when you look to the 10-man version of the roster, is really high. So I don't think Pr0lly Watch is like, over completely, but you got to give the man some credit for what has happened recently. But it's complicated, right? Because of Amazing, the player coach Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How much, like, how are you viewing Pr0lly and Amazing and what they're each doing for the team right now?
My hope is both of these guys recognize that whatever it is they're doing, exactly whatever they're doing is working. And and they both shouldn't care what that is, right? Like what I hope is that neither of them are looking at this as like, you know, because in the heist as well, Amazing jokes and says I'm the real coach, you know, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably picking up on community sentiment that he is a player coach, which, you know, he coached before, so he gets that title. He can take it.
Yeah, wannabe Tracer 69 in Twitch chat said Amazing equals LeBron James. That's exactly what we said. What was that last week? Yeah, same. So he's the player coach, right?
Right. So I think I would add one more variable to that, which is, I mean, you kind of have you do have, look, there are 2 player coaches now. Ryu, he has his coaching certificate, and he's back in the game too. So
his coaching certificate.
It's a little bit like, you know, he took the workshop over the weekend. It's a little bit clouded for me when I think about Pr0lly. But what I'll say is this: Pr0lly is the guy who has decision rights. So he is ultimately the one who decides who plays what position, where, and on which team, LCS or Academy. So I think if you're not giving him credit for the wins we're getting, you're being disingenuous, because it's ultimately his call. And he's the one who said, yeah, sign Amazing. And he's the one who said, yeah, put Ryu back into a playing position, right? Like ultimately he makes those calls. So I think you've got to give him that credit.
Yeah. So it's not to say that Amazing doesn't deserve any credit for what's been happening with this team, because I think his attitude has been very helpful. Like, it's the medicine that we needed.
Yeah.
But you know, like you said, you have to give Pr0lly some credit here. I mean, when Aphro was calling out in an interview that they're smurfing in the draft, you know, both Pr0lly and Jungle Juice deserve that credit. You know.
Yep.
We know that players have input in the draft too, but ultimately, like you said, they're the ones making those calls, and so, you know, I hope that we relax a little bit on Pr0lly and just are able to give him some deserved credit. I don't think he's out of the woods, and I think there's so much work left to be done this split. But the fact that, like I said, we're one game out of the playoff race, and the fan sentiment is so much better now than it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
that says something that cannot be overlooked.
Right. One other thing I'll hit on this topic, and then we can move on to kind of what's next. But what I'm watching now is, can Pr0lly create a system? Can he create a way of playing League of Legends? And you think way back, I can't remember where exactly he says, but he said League should be played aggressively. This is a game you should play aggressively. Obviously, that message didn't get through before. We've seen it getting through a lot more recently. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the verdict is still out on whether or not that sticks. But can you create a system where you have more ability to move pieces in and out, like I'm thinking of Ryu here, and continue to get good results? So I think when I think about like spring 20, that's what I'll be looking at, is if we have to take Ryu out of this lineup for any reason, or if we decide to because we want to see what that upside is on somebody else, right? Maybe let's say like Faker wants to come play for us. Can we take Ryu out and put Faker in and still get the same level of play? And sure. I'm being kind of serious here. Like,
Faker, come on, man.
I'm serious. We said the exact same thing about Bang. We said you got Rakara and you got Bang. How could it not be a massive, massive upgrade?
Well, so yeah. I'm laughing at the idea of Faker coming to NA.
We'll laugh at that too.
Yeah.
But that's the real thing, because anybody who you bring into this team to replace Ryu is going to be some degree less good than Faker. He is the best mid laner in the world. So the question is the difference there going to be enough? And I think this is what I mean when I say, can you create a system where these guys play in, so that they all understand how to play this way that we're seeing right now, regardless of who is loading into mid lane. That's what I want to see.
That'll be the question. Is the system installed, or is this just, as has been said, Band-Aids?
Or is it side booting from Ryu.exe?
That's right.
That's what I want to know.
Okay, well, look, we have to do some updated projections now that we're almost halfway through the split. We're coming up on the Rift Rivals break, so we're not going to have games this upcoming weekend. And instead, we're going to see Team Liquid take down G2. So now that we've been through 4 weeks of this split, I want an update from you on where you think 100T finishes. Regular season, where do we finish?
Okay. I'm gonna go bold here. I want to say we finish in 5th place.
5th place. All right. So not the last playoff spot.
Not the last playoff spot. I think we're better than that now.
Okay, then that necessitates the follow-up question. How do we do in playoffs?
I think we make it out of the first round, but not the second.
All right. So you think
the gauntlet
not
is
only,
what I'm looking at, baby.
So that means we beat a 3rd and 4th place team. I guess in this case it would be the 3rd place team.
In a best of 5.
In a best of 5.
Yeah.
All right, dude, you're on record. That's a bold one. I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out.
Hey, look, Red Rivalry is not over. Clutch Gaming currently holds a position above us. We're coming for you.
Oh, gosh, is that really rivalry when we just crush them every time but once? Come on.
That's what we call it every time we talk about it.
Yeah, that's true. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So let me ask you one more question then. Aphro has said in that, I think it was in the Travis interview, right? That Maurice and I are shot callers, right? So
yeah.
Amazing and Aphro are the designated people calling what the team does. So notably, Ryu is not there in that capacity. So what role does Ryu play if he's not a shot caller? We've seen like the massive impact that he seems to have had. And why does it make the team so different?
Man, I feel like that's the $1 million question. And I think they're like, as you watch games this weekend, just do this. Just watch Ryu's positioning. See where he is. Like there was this miracle play. This ended the FlyQuest game. It was Aphro face checking Camille and getting basically 100 to 0'd. I think he got 100 to 99.2'd. Or 100 to 0.002. Like he had 2 HP. So Ryu's there and he saves Aphro somehow. He Victor saves Aphro.
He Victor saves him.
Yeah. And like he drops a stun, he gets the Q in there. He survives himself. FakeGod shows up. Like that to me was just the most classic Ryu play of being in the right place at the right time, saving somebody, and that is literally the play that we use to snowball and win the game. So, as you watch, fans, just pick up on these moments where Ryu is quietly a huge impact on the game. And in this case, I would say he was quietly the reason the game ended when it did. That's big. He didn't shot call that. He was just there and he made it happen.
Is Ryu becoming this religious figure for us where we cannot comprehend the shape and form or nature of this, and we may try and we strive for understanding. We strive
Nor are
to
we
follow
worthy.
him, but yeah, in the end, we are not worthy.
Yeah, I think all ye who doubt him may fear strike your bones, and I'm not going to do it anymore.
Oh gosh, yeah, it really is like the most mysterious thing.
Yeah,
it is.
It's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah,
it kind of transcends my understanding of like sports. To be honest with you, like I don't quite get it,
but I'll take it.
I'm trying hard to get it. I can't quite get it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ryu, for your macro blessings to this team.
Macro blessings.
Okay, look, let's we've got some things to take care of before we finish up. All right.
We do.
We do have to, like I said, we've got Rift Rivals this weekend, so no games, but we do have to project beyond the Rift Rivals. And then I want to hit a couple of birthday moments for 100 Talk.
Oh, yay.
And then maybe
and a
maybe
sub coming in
something.
from Blue01 Red 10.
Oh, nice.
What a dude.
Nice.
What a dude.
I bet that guy loves Michigan.
I bet he does. And Cornell.
And Cornell. Yeah, I'm guessing. So yeah, let's project that, and then let's have some 100 Talk heartwarming moments, and then maybe create a heartwarming moment for the community as well. So in 2 weeks, we have TSM in game 1 and Team Liquid in the game after that. So this will be the completion of our first round through the old round robin and the start of the second one. Currently, TSM is tied for second place with a 5-3 record, and Team Liquid is the lone gun in first at 6-2. So tough weekend to come back to. What are your thoughts?
Can I get a drum roll, please? That's a 2-0 weekend.
Oh my goodness, dude! You... Oh no! All right, community, hold him accountable. Clip this. You are responsible. You are responsible for the claims you make during this show. I hope you know this. The internet doesn't forget.
Yep. I've signed the waiver. May you all blast me eternally. Here's why. They're okay. EU is pretty good at League of Legends right now. I don't know if you know that. They're pretty good. Fnatic, best team in EU record-wise. Just beat G2.
I'm just not sure, but
G2, best team in the world, arguably. I think they're going to have a long weekend. And I think they're going to come back a little bit out of sorts. And I think we're good. I think we're actually a pretty good team. So I think we can make this happen. I think we can. If ever there's a weekend that we 2-0 TL and TSM. How did this happen to us, by the way, schedulers? What is going on here? Then this is it. This is the weekend. We get 2 full weeks of scrims, which I think like basically doubles the scrim time that FakeGod's had with this crew. They are a lot more comfortable with each other. And I think that we don't know what the ceiling for this team is yet. I think we're about to find out.
You are a bold kid.
Yes.
And I've always valued you for that.
Thank you.
Look, yeah, and you did a good job of making the case. I'll say that.
Thank you.
Because if there is an argument to be made, that is the argument to be made. But I'll see your argument and raise the counter argument that I think this is actually really bad timing for us to have a break, because this is a momentum killing break for us. I don't think the extra scrim time is really going to help because, top 3 teams are going to be getting ready for Rift Rivals. They're going to be focusing on that. I think the scrim quality is going to drop, and I think we might lose some of the rhythm we've had. So that is compounded by the fact that these are 2 pretty tough teams to play into. And TSM, I do still believe TSM is more doable for us than Team Liquid by a substantial margin. Mm-hmm. But I worry that maybe we're overselling the progress of the team because we're so excited about it.
That's
so
what we'll
all
see.
Of those factors, plus every time I predict an O2 weekend, I'm wrong. So,
oh yes,
consider this the activation of the 100 Talk buff.
Oh boy,
predict the O2 weekend. It is a sincerely held belief, but
but science
this hopefully
never
activates
lies.
the buff, and maybe maybe we'll get flown in for the game, for the weekend. Who knows?
I think I have
possible.
a 2-day-old infant for that game. So
oh yeah, that's right. Oh my god,
chances are low for me.
Nah, just do it, man. Your wife will understand.
She will.
All right,
I warned her when she got into this. I said, hey, I've got obligations here.
The good news is the average of our ticks is a 1-in-1 weekend. So no matter what, we're going to be right in some form or fashion, which is what you want to do.
That's right. We've got all the bases covered.
That's right. Either you're right, I'm right, or the average of our opinions is right. We can do no wrong.
That's what we always aim for.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to quickly. This is quickly just the happy birthday portion of the show. First of all, happy anniversary / birthday to my partner, Jordan. Been doing this for a minute now. It's been a nice ride, hasn't it?
It has been fun. It's been very fun. It's
Since
been a blast.
We did Den of Thieves and didn't even have a layout, and it would just alternate between which one of us is talking, like the full screen deal. And
I was in my junk office upstairs with an ironing board and an iron behind me in every episode.
That's right. And I was in this same room, but I didn't have 100 Thieves apparel draped all around to flex on people. Look, along the way, we got a couple things right and we got a couple things wrong. All right. More than a couple, in fact. But I wanted to draw attention to a couple really quick because I think it's fun to look at. Jordan, did you remember your prediction after Worlds in 2018? We were talking about how we thought the team would do. and it came to Anda, and you made a bold prediction. Do you remember what that prediction was?
I do remember, and it's one that I will bring up every now and again. Just remind people that it's okay to be wrong. So wrong, in fact. And that, my friend, was that Anda would finish the spring split as the first team LCS jungler.
And it turns out I don't think he finished the LCS split. I think Frag has played the last 2 games, if I'm not mistaken. Look.
Oh, no.
I wish you were right about that take, man. He looked so good at Worlds, and he's such a great dude, man. I'm so sad that didn't pan out, but it clearly did not pan out.
Let me do like the epilogue of that take, and that's if the system can come online.
The Pr0lly system?
The Pr0lly system. Anda still has a place in that system.
All right. Fair enough.
Just say it. Yeah.
Okay, but look, I also made a prediction that ended up being pretty wrong.
Yes.
And I did this even more recently. I did this in between splits. Okay. When we had a debate about which player is like the keystone of this team and which one I should definitely build around if it was me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I chose a player who is not currently playing on our roster. That is Someday. I chose to build around Someday and make him the most valuable and important piece of this puzzle.
Yeah.
That turned out to be very wrong. In my defense, are we not surprised?
We are surprised. And some people would still argue, Cole, that you aren't wrong and that you should, in fact, do that.
Yeah, that's true. I have a community of supporters out there.
It's like the people who live in the mountains and continue to fight the war like 20 years after it's over.
Yeah. Like their radio was damaged, and so they never
refuse.
Knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gosh. Okay, but look, we've gotten some things right too. Okay. And guess what? Mine's on the same topic, because I said, as we started the split, and things were not looking so promising, I said, do not be surprised if Someday gets subbed out as this split progresses. And I pointed to week 4, which was pretty close. Now, that's pretty crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
I completely heel turned on my original take. So I don't mean to expose myself as the Skip Bayless of Hunter Talk, where I'm just going to go back on what I originally said. But, you know, at least that one was what prepared us for the blow. That would be our boy Someday getting taken off the main roster.
If you're the Skip Bayless of this podcast, does that make me the Shannon Sharp?
Yes. So you should be drinking Henny.
What do you think is in my cup?
And saying, how, Skip? How, Cole? Every time. And being right about stuff, which is usually the case. Well, you were right about what I think I've actually shouted this out a lot. I just am continually impressed that you saw the Ryu thing coming. You saw Ryu being way more important than everyone thought, and you called that out continuously. These are our famous right things and our famous wrong things that have happened along the way of Hunter Talk.
And so concludes another year of the what we got wrong, what we got right segment.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a year.
Only 2 things we got wrong, only 2 things we got right. No, look,
that's right.
I wanted to ask you also, so what was your favorite moment doing the show the past year?
Okay. I think my favorite moment, if there's probably a bit of recency bias in this. I don't know, check me. I honestly think it was VOD Squad. I had so much fun watching the Cloud9 win. Chat was killing me. I was dying in chat. People were cracking me up so hard. We invented a 100 Thieves mascot that shall be revealed at a future date. It was a blast. It was like the epitome of everything I love about watching League. Is we were just having a good time watching Thieves play really well. So personally, I think that's my favorite thing that's come out of the first year of the pod, and I can't wait to do a lot more of those.
Here's what I'll say. I remember week 3 of Spring Split from this year when we went out to LCS.
Yes.
And we watched the Clutch Gaming game, and we saw the now immortal Someday 1v2 on Urgot against Lyra and Huni, and that was a thing of beauty. And I am so proud that you can hear my voice on the VOD of the broadcast being so excited and just needing to make noise after that happening. That was the absolute peak. I loved that whole trip, man.
Yeah, you're right. It was so fun. And just I can't, there's video of us too. You can see it in gosh, I think it's the heist. You can see us jumping up out of our seats at the moment that play happens. We're just over, it's like we've been possessed by the spirit of someday. And we're absolutely losing our minds. So that was a really good moment. Can I just say, I'm seeing in the chat, what about hosting duties for Academy? You know, we've shout outs to Steve the Thief. So I think it's cool that we have as many, and there's a lot of stuff that happened on the LCS trip that we haven't, like, you know, it was cool meeting people and just doing all that. So it's there's been a ton of stuff that's happened in a year. It's pretty amazing, and it's been an absolute blast. Yeah. So,
well, look, we have been blessed with a really cool community that has developed around what we do. We are small, but we are mighty, and the support that's come through, whether it's subs or just hanging out with us on Twitter, watching the show, that's been the most surprising thing to me, is that people actually listen to us do this, even though we don't know what the heck we're talking about. And
we got some things right, Cole. Don't undersell us here.
We did get some things right, but man, it's been fun to make those friends along the way. So we thank you all for that. That's been amazing, truly amazing. And so we got to celebrate, and we got to celebrate with a giveaway, because that's how we roll. So Jordan, would you like to fill in the listeners on the item that will be given away?
Yes. If you're all familiar with the wind and its effects on the human body, chafing, dryness, irritation, have you ever wanted a breaker of that wind? Wait, sounds like I'm talking about somebody passing gas.
Yeah, that didn't go the way you thought. You got caught.
When you break it up like that, we're giving away a windbreaker. It's got 100 Thieves on it. It's I think the Gen 2 windbreaker.
It's called
black.
The original windbreaker.
Sorry, the original windbreaker.
Even though it is the
call?
Gen 2.
What did they call
it's
the
a
first
reissue.
one?
It's a reissue of the original windbreaker.
Yeah,
we got one of those hot commodities to give away.
If you have a real sleuthful eye, you've seen the camo windbreaker, which was like it's like an alpha windbreaker. I think I saw Jackson wear that last. Anyway, we're giving one of this away.
Yeah, and we're giving it away because you guys have been so awesome and supportive of the show that we would like to bless you with the sold out 100 Thieves apparel that is oft imitated, never duplicated. So you know how to do this if you've been a fan of the show already. You can go to, I'm spamming the link right now in the chat, to the tweet that you can retweet. Make sure you're following us if you're not already. And retweet that thing, and we'll pick a random winner and reveal that winner on the next show. There'll be some more ways to enter that we'll post underneath it, but basically, same as always, follow us and comment your size on YouTube, on the Twitch VOD, and we will pick one of you to be given this wonderful piece of immortal merchandise. Apparel is more accurate, but I still like to use it in the general sense.
Yeah. And just in case anyone was wondering, holy gifted subs, Craven Dylan, the dude.
More gifted subs coming along. This is how many. Dylan has given 25 subs away in this channel now.
Wow.
That brings his total to 25. What?
That is outstanding.
What a dude.
What a dude. Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you so much. That is really, really, really impressive.
I think I saw him gift some cheers earlier too. I didn't even know you could do that. So, Dylan, we appreciate you, man. And if anybody was wondering, if you were thinking, I don't want to roll the dice and test my luck, I'll just pop on over to StockX and grab one from the marketplace. You can't. They don't have it up there. It's that exclusive. You can't get it. So do the entries.
Yeah.
Be the winner.
This is how you get it. Be the winner. Like I said, I'll make this clear, but comment your size when you're retweeting this thing, and when you're commenting on the VOD for YouTube and Twitch. Make sure to throw your size in there, and we look forward to sending you a package carefully packed and wrapped with the coolest thing you'll have in your closet.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I think Bedindrum has this one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
She can testify to the quality.
Yeah. Well, look, that's going to do it for our show this week. Again, it's just been amazing to have this first year of this turning into a real thing instead of just being Jordan and I talking to ourselves. So again, we thank you so much. Win the giveaway. May the RNG gods smile upon you. Mm-hmm. And we'll catch you later this week with some Rec League. And I don't know, maybe we'll try and do some more stuff around Rift Rivals. Who knows? We haven't talked about it yet, but we're always open to exploring the possibilities. Let's get the 13-game win streak going. 13-5. Here we come.
We're 3. What is it? How about fractions here, Cole? 3/13 of the way there.
That's right. 3/13.
Doesn't reduce.
That does not reduce. Yeah. All right, everybody. We love you and miss you already. We will see you next time. Hunter Talk.
Take care, everybody.